Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Amphibia Episode 7. So, last time we actually had half of an episode that I enjoyed. I wouldn't say I loved it or anything. I wouldn't say it was, like, amazing. But it was more enjoyable than this series has been. Just to put it that simply. But it was also an episode focused around my favorite character. So to be fair, it was kind of the one thing that I was going to like. It's like you take the only character I'm really enjoying and you make an episode surrounding her. It's like, yeah, I'm going to probably enjoy it. But hopefully it eventually gets me into the other characters as well. We'll have to see. Because right now, the likes of Anne, Sprig, Hop Pop, it's like they don't do anything for me. I don't enjoy them. I don't feel like I have any reason to enjoy them. Nothing about them has been that interesting. Nothing about them has been that likable. They're just very blah as characters to me. And I'm hoping that changes. I'm hoping to be proven wrong, but for now, that's just the way I see it. So, yeah. We're gonna get into this episode. I don't know what to expect. As always, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but hopefully last episode brings us on a bit of an upturn, because it's starting to get to a point where it's like I really feel like I need it to do something to actually impress me in some way, to some degree. Because as it is now, I don't really feel the need to continue that heavily. But as I said, I'm giving excuse me. I'm giving this a fair chance. I'm gonna give this a fair chance since I didn't the first time, and because it is a donation reward. I'm making sure I don't just drop it willy-nilly, so we'll keep going. Excuse me. We'll keep going until I truly feel like I just don't have any hope in it anymore. So, hopefully that doesn't happen. But we'll see. So, when the screen fades black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'm mixed on this one. With 7A was actually really good. Like, I was actually really enjoying that one until the very end, and that ruined it. And 7B, I was very much not really enjoying that much. I didn't dislike it as some other stuff. Um, except for Polly's part. So let's talk about them one at a time. 7A. 7A is about Anne Hop and Hop Hop trying to put together, trying to basically ship Sprig with his friend, just because his friend happens to be a girl. And kind of the lesson it's going for is that guys and girls can be friends without having to be romantic, and that you shouldn't try to force love between two people. Very good, important lessons. Especially the former, with the guys and girls can just be friends without there having to be anything romantic about it. That's something that a lot of people still in this day and age don't seem to grasp. That they're just because a guy and a girl are friends doesn't mean there has to be anything romantic about it. I mean, there's many issues with that. I mean, forcing the idea that men and women can't connect at all without there being love involved is just kind of disgusting. Plus, there's the fact that it's like you're automatically assuming that because they're a guy and a girl, they have to be in love with each other, which is the peak of heteronormative grossness. And it's just wrong to try and force two people to be together. Like, even if the two people do show feelings towards each other, trying to force them together is still wrong. You shouldn't be getting involved in it at all, even if they do love each other. That is not your place. But the ending ruined it. Because although I was having fun with a lot of the humor, I thought the Love Doves were fucking amazing, and I adored that concept and what they did with it. Although Sprig's friend, I don't remember her name, is really fun and entertaining, the ending just completely ruined the episode, or that half of the episode for me, by having Sprig actually fall in love with her. Because that completely destroys the point. It completely goes back on the entire point and message that that half of the episode was trying to get across. It makes the entire thing basically null and void. The entire lesson learned is completely null and void with that ending. It's a slap in the face to everything the episode had been before. And it's annoying as shit. Because it's like the episode was giving such a great example of friends who don't have to be in love just because of their gender, and was showcasing it as a very big, important lesson. So to have Sprig actually fall in love with her at the end, it undermines the entire lesson, the entire point. And it's gross to do that. Even if it's for just a humorous little end gag, it's still gross to do that. And it really just ruins the entire half of the episode for me. So then we get into the second half of the episode. And this one is about Anne trying to fit in with the Planters and not feel left out by choosing to go camping with them, even though she doesn't like camping. Anne tends to be pretty indoorsy and not very fond of outdoor activities and nature and stuff. She's like me in that regard, and I do kind of connect with her at least a little bit in that sense. But she also goes along with it just to try and fit in, which is something I don't tend to do. um, and it's something that really bothers me when people do that. And I get that's kind of the point of the episode. I get that the message of the episode is that you shouldn't force yourself to go along with other people just to please them or just to try and fit in with them. That you should do what is right for you. And that's a good lesson. That's a really good lesson. It's just that the episode wasn't that interesting. Because Anne goes along with this, they go camping, and it's kind of, quote-unquote, extreme for Anne's senses because of all the bugs and shit that are around, including really horrific-looking shit. But Anne, still trying to fit in and everything, says, oh no, it's not extreme enough, and so this random-ass dude pops out of nowhere, starts laughing, and invites them to go to a different place that's more extreme. They go there, the dude is fake killed, and they have to deal with these cannibalistic frogs who they think at first are these mud men from the creepy guy's story. They defeat them with a bath bomb and go out for pancakes, I guess. Although Polly has taste and goes out for waffles instead. Because she's always preferred waffles. Which is, yeah, it's definitely clear that she's my favorite character. But yeah, it's like, it just wasn't interesting. Like, it went beat by beat exactly how you would expect it to. Like, every little detail was just really obvious and generic. It's like, yeah, of course we've seen these stories before where a character goes along with something just to fit in. It's not new. And it's like every single time, it's like, oh, they go to fit in, things start to happen, they're miserable, but they want to keep going for it. And even to the point of going even harder, doing something that's even worse, just to try and fit in, and it almost gets completely out of control until some silly little thing saves them. You've seen this time and time again. It's not new. And it's not even done in a really interesting way here. It's basically just like my complaints with a lot of the series so far have been. It's not using it, it's not getting creative with these ideas, and it just feels bland. And it's annoying. So it's like, while there was a lot to love about the first half of this episode, even if it did completely destroy it in the end, the second half of the episode really just did not work as much for me. It was just, again, very bland and boring, even if the message itself was very good. And it was. So I just feel like the only thing that the second half of the episode had going for it was the little hints there. And it very much reminded me of Gravity Falls. And out of nowhere, this literally comes out of nowhere. It's not built up to at all. It just happens. Anne decides at the very end of the episode to bring out the box that brought her here, which we knew about from the opening and all. Anne brings out the box, shows it to Hop Hop and Sprig and them, asks if they know anything about it. Hop Hop looks it over, says no, and heads out to bed, but we find out he was lying as he looks through this book and finds that it's called the Calamity Box, and it is trouble. This is a very Gravity Falls-like reveal, reminding me of, honestly, the first episode, where after all of the denial of everything, you see Grunkle Stan slink away into this secret area behind the vending machine. It very much feels like that. Or even the first time you see that Grunkle Stan has the book. It's like, it's definitely a Gravity Falls style reveal. Which, I believe that I have heard that they actually reference Gravity Falls in this series, like directly. So I'm not surprised that they would do something like that, but at the same time, it's like you're referencing a show here that is your superior in every way, and it's just kind of funny to me. But in all seriousness, like I said, it just came out of nowhere. There was nothing leading up to that reveal. If they had like, if there had been something like, even maybe if Anne had like been shuffling through her stuff, like when she was getting the bath bomb, if she had been shuffling through her stuff and maybe we saw the box at that moment, and she maybe like gave it a glance, but then just like shook her head, continued through until she found the bath bomb, that would have been enough. That would have been perfect to build that up for the end. But as it is, it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it feels forced in. It doesn't feel natural. It didn't feel like it just. It felt like it just happened instead of it was actually built up. So I'm not a fan of how they did that. I just feel like they had wasted potential there and just did not know how to make a big reveal like that, which is really disappointing after all the shows I've seen that have done really well at making great reveals like that. But it is starting to finally touch on important lore stuff and just generally like the overarching plot, it seems. It's finally starting to touch on that here in episode 7, and I mean, I'm glad it is, but again, I just wish it did it better, because I feel kind of not really disinterested, but I feel disappointed by how it was handled. So I don't feel as excited as I should, considering what the reveal was. It just didn't like have that impact for me. But that being said and everything, yeah. I did very much enjoy the first half of this until the end. So there's something. You get something for me to enjoy. The second half, not so much. The second half was super cliche and boring. But the first half did some really fun things, was actually really creative. The Love Doves are, again, fucking amazing. I just love the concept. I love how they're executed. I love the design. I adore them. And Polly was great in both halves of this episode. I will acknowledge that. But Polly's pretty much always great, so that's not really saying too much. So yeah. That all being said, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode 7 of Amphibia. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.